that?
It's a Corvette.
That's a Corvette?
It's the new Corvette.
That is sweet.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Horsepower Obsessed. Today, I am going to take the C8 Corvette, and I'm going to tell you what my impressions are on this car so far after a mere 2 weeks. All right, guys, so I'm sure you're saying to yourselves by now, well, wait a minute, Justin, it's only been 2 weeks. How could you have even formulated an opinion yet? Well, the car is really just that good. Now, as most of you already know, I have this beauty sitting here, and this is an insane car in its own right. And it's not gonna be real easy for any car to one-up this thing, but this gets extremely close. And for it being the base version of the C8 Corvette, Chevy freaking nailed it. The biggest benefit to having an automatic. Oh yeah. I love that ability. I can constantly cold start this thing anywhere. Anyway, let's jump in the car and head out. All right, guys, so what we're gonna do here today is go over what it is about this car that I think is absolutely fantastic. Like I said, I've spent 2 weeks with this thing and I'm already completely sold on it. Now, for those of you who haven't seen some of the previous videos, you'll know that in those 2 weeks, I was actually without the car for about 3 days because it was getting XPEL satin put on it, or XPEL stealth. So basically it takes the paint and gives it a satin look. You can kind of see the reflections here a little bit. It mutes it a little bit, and it really just makes the thing look freaking awesome. It actually takes it to the next level and makes it give it that kind of supercar appearance, and that's fantastic if you ask me. But I digress, because that has nothing to do with why I think the car is awesome. I mean, it helps, but at the end of the day, GM made this car fantastic, and you don't have to have a satin wrap on it to enjoy it as much as I've been enjoying it. Before we continue, I just wanted to thank Hyperion for again sponsoring today's video. Without getting too technical, it basically blocks the frequency from your key fob to your car and will stop potential thieves from stealing said frequency to gain access to your car. With the car off, I take the remote, place it inside the Hyperion case, put the cap on, and now if I go to try to start the car, I am presented with a message that tells me the remote is not detected. I will put the link in the description down below. If you guys are interested, you can get one for 35% off plus free shipping just for being a Horsepower Obsessed fan. So let's get into some of the features that I think make this car an absolute home run from GM. But let me just start with the most glaringly obvious one, and that is the appearance. So as you guys know, I've talked a lot about the C7 Corvette. I obviously own a ZR1, and I used to have a Z06 C7, and they have both been absolutely amazing cars. One of the biggest things I loved about the C7 Corvette was its appearance as well, and this one just takes what the C7 offered and improves on it even more. Now, that is something gigantic by itself whenever it's coming from me, because like I said, I own a ZR1, and that is without a doubt the most gorgeous looking Corvette ever made, in my opinion, of course. Now, with that said, this one is a very close second. Now, let's dive into something that I talked about a long time ago. About 2 years ago, I talked about not really being sold on this car. Now, that's very funny, because I am so sold on it now that I am, without a doubt, getting into the performance models once they come out as well, because this base model one is almost like a hair away from being a ZR1 or beating the ZR1 and the C7 platform. So that by itself is fantastic. That's an awesome achievement from GM for any generation base model to beat the previous generation's top of the line model, or in this case, that close.
What is that?
It's a Corvette.
That's a Corvette?
It's the new Corvette.
That is sweet.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
You mind if I take a picture of it?
Absolutely not. Go ahead. Yeah, it's brand new. It's 2020. I literally just picked it up about 2 weeks ago.
Wow, they did a nice job on that.
Yeah, they did.
That is short. You look like a Ferrari.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, it definitely takes it to another level, that's for sure.
No doubt. I am impressed.
So there you have it. What better timing than whenever I'm talking about the exterior for the UPS guy to come through the parking lot I'm in and tell me how great he thinks it is. Anyway, as you can see, the car draws a crowd just like, honestly, the C7 did to an extent, but this one, like I said, it just takes everything the C7 had to offer and takes it to another level. So even the exterior styling is just bumped up a notch, and anybody who knows what a Corvette looks like stops and asks me, what is this? Just like you heard the UPS guy there say, what is it? And I told him it's a Corvette. And he's like, that's a Corvette. But the biggest reason I think is obviously the styling, but also I don't have the Corvette letters back on there yet. So until that happens, it's going to be a little confusing for some people. But anyway, let's go on to the next couple points. The big ones for me are going to be technology related. So the technology in the car is, of course, a step up from what it was in the C7. Now, obviously, we're talking about, what, 6 years worth of technology upgrades and all that good stuff, so it really should be. But at the same time, the big ones I've found are the front cameras actually being useful. So never mind the fact that the car is filthy, I've been driving it a lot. In the 2 weeks I've owned it, I have almost 1,500 miles on it already. So I have spent a lot of time behind the wheel, a lot of driving. I've even taken it on the track. And that's where things really get interesting. Anyway, I digress again. The front cameras are actually useful. You can literally see what you're about to hit or what you're not about to hit. And that's fantastic considering I am going to have a front lip on this car very soon and I'm not going to want it all busted up. Now, with that said, we can also move on to the rear view camera. Literally a camera in the rear view mirror. And of course, that gives you the image from right here. And that is absolutely incredibly HD, incredibly crisp. You can always see what's right behind you because, let's face it, the Corvette has never had fantastic rear visibility. This one is no different. The visibility is definitely limited, but with all the cameras, it really helps bump it up. And of course, you have your backup camera right there, and that one also gives an incredibly crisp image, lets you know with the lines that GM offers where you're going to back up to, what the trajectory is, and all that good stuff. And of course, outside of the technology, you have the horsepower, the 495 ponies roaring behind you now. It's not in front anymore. And with that dual clutch automatic transmission, you are literally banging gears almost as awesomely as you would be in a manual transmission car. Now, as you guys know, I am a huge advocate for the manual transmission. With the dual clutch transmission, I'm almost not missing it. This is almost as good as driving a manual transmission car. Now, of course, the dual clutch transmissions are very similar in a lot of ways, and that's why it's fun. And it's totally different from any other regular automatic transmission car, and it's fantastic. I can't stop using that word. Fantastic is going to be said in this video multiple times because it is fantastic. With the 495 horsepower, the dual clutch transmission, the car hits 0 to 60 in as low as 2.6 seconds, which is actually faster than the C7 ZR1 with the automatic. So, like I said, it is so close to being a crazy, crazy performer, and this is the base. We're only going up from here. Anyway, moving on, we have the headlights. LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, LED turn signals, LED everything, and it's about time. Again, you guys know I'm a huge advocate for taking anything that is an incandescent bulb and turning it into an LED, because they should be. On a car like this, you should not have incandescent bulbs anywhere, and this one doesn't. Every single bulb, and down to the one that illuminates the frunk when popped, is LED. And again, it's fantastic. So like I told you guys in the beginning, I wasn't going to make this just a video about all the great things that I've noticed. There's a couple bad, and it starts with the wheels. Like, I am huge on GM and their styling on wheels. Typically on the performance cars, GM offers a fantastic looking wheel, and they kind of let me down on this car. I am not a fan of the open spoke or the Trident wheels. Those are literally the only two design wheels you can get for the C8. And from the factory, I'm not impressed with either of them. So if we look at the car from the profile, you can really see the rear tires. They don't match up with the fenders. They need to come out probably about 1/2 inch. The front ones are the same. It's a little hard to tell because the wheels turned here, but front ones sit in about 1 inch or a ½ inch or so as well, and they need to be brought out a little bit. So nothing crazy, nothing a wheel spacer won't fix, but what a wheel spacer won't fix is that ugly chrome ring. I don't get what that was all about, because if I was to design this wheel, and even if we kept it looking exactly like that, it would not have had that. The whole thing would have been black, and the offset would have been adjusted a little bit to bring the whole wheel a little more flush with the fenders. So if you want to fix an issue like that, it's not really that difficult, but at the same time, it's not something you should have to fix on a brand new car. Now, I am going to be making a video here very soon talking about all the options I ordered on this car, what my price was, my payment, all that good stuff. It's coming soon. So if you guys are interested in that, it will be coming within the next week or so. I do want to discuss all this stuff with you guys because I know a lot of you out there are still waiting for your C8 Corvette, and you might be interested in knowing what spec I went with and all that. But at the end of the day, this is an absolute home run for GM. I was not originally sold on this car. I wasn't even sold on the appearance of the car originally. And it's so hard to tell in video because this car does not video. It doesn't photograph well at all. But when you see this thing in person, it is absolutely mind-blowing. Like you saw even the UPS guy just randomly pulls in and sees the car and just goes crazy for it because it is quite eye-catching. But on camera and in pictures, it's really hard to capture that. I've only spent a little over 2 weeks with the car. I have had it on the track. That footage will be coming very soon, but there's a reason it's not out yet. But all I have to say about the track experience is good things as well. So this car really does it all. You can put it in tour mode, drive it to the grocery store, or you can throw it in track mode and literally rip it around a track. It's fantastic. Yes, fantastic. And before we go, I gotta mention the gas mileage. Like literally driving from my house to Harrisburg is about a 200-mile trip. This thing averaged almost 31 miles per gallon. 31, it's freaking insane. Like this thing, 0 to 60, 2.6 seconds. This thing was 31 miles per gallon. Like I said, fantastic. But anyway, guys, I don't want to go on and on and on. I do have only about 2 weeks behind the wheel, and I will be making future videos talking about more of my experience, but for now, it is all pretty much good stuff. There's very few little bad things that I'll be fixing anyway, but until then, I'll have to deal with. And when I say deal with, I mean, I gotta deal with them. Like, it's not even a huge deal because the car overall is so great that the little things don't even matter. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. So if you liked what you saw, give me a big thumbs up. If you have any questions about the C8 Corvette, the wrap, or anything we've done with it, shoot them in the comment section down below, or shoot me an email, horse.power.obsessed@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to answer anything you may have for me. If you haven't subscribed yet, guys, please do. I have loads of C7 and C8 Corvette content coming you're not gonna wanna miss, including comparing this Z51 model to the ZR1 C7. You're not going to want to miss this stuff. And as always, guys, I will catch you in the next upload.